Hello, everyone. Thank you for tuning in. I am Jay Lee. This is Jay Lee's Corner, and this is my review for The Walking Dead Season 8, Episode 2, The Damned. Now, let's just go. Nope, first things first. How was your day going? Is everybody doing okay? Everybody alright? Okay. Happy everybody having a good day. So, let's get into this particular episode. Now, this is only episode 2 of the new season, and I'm underwhelmed. Like, today's episode literally dragged on. I get how they're saying like the first 4 episodes is going to be this attack on Negan's camp, and how they're trying to take out the saviors. I understand that, but it's boring. You know what I'm saying? Like, the scenes are just taking too long. I kept waiting for something big to happen, or just for it to not be about them sneaking. I mean, it was literally a full episode about them sneaking around from point A to point B. And I get every single episode can't be boom, pow, pow. I get that it can't be something huge in every single episode, but I was a little bored. I was a little bored. I did take notes. Even the ending, which was like a surprise, I had to Google who the person was because I couldn't remember. And I'm not ashamed to admit that as a Walking Dead fan, I can't remember everything from 8 seasons. So, the whole episode, I wrote notes, and, I don't think I'm going to go off my notes today because this was the whole episode, and I can kind of go from start to finish. It was like, Daryl and Rick and their escapades. You had Carol and King Ezekiel and their escapade. You then had Morgan and Jesus and Tara and the new character Dana, who I don't remember Dana from before. Is it Dana or Diane? One of the two. I wrote her name down, but I was like looking. And their particular escapades. It was different. Oh, and then also we had Aaron and Eric who had their escapade. It was like all these different things going on at the same time. And and even in the beginning of the episode, they showed Daryl's face, they showed Rick's face, they showed Tara's face, they showed the different characters, like it's a close up of their face as they're like walking through whatever their scene is. And I was like, okay, what's going on? Okay, what's gonna happen? Okay, what's going on? The last episode ended with a little like explosion type of thing that included, King Ezekiel and Carol being kind of not ambushed, but caught off guard by the person who saw them and kind of created a diversion for him to get away. And we see both Carol and King Ezekiel are fine. They fight off the walkers, and then they're on this hunt to catch this savior because they're attacking all of their outposts. That is what the first episode was about. That's what this episode is about. They're attacking the outposts to get as many saviors, either kill them all or capture them all, just get them away from Negan so that he can't use them to attack them. And, so when they have how it's King Ezekiel and Carol, and they're just walking, trying to find this guy who saw them before he can warn the other saviors that they're on their way to basically, get them. And that was it was just them walking through the forest. They killed a walker, and that was basically it. There was a lot of conversation between Carol and the King because he's so upbeat. He's so optimistic. And she's like, why are you so optimistic? You do know we all might die. And he was like, you gotta fake it till you make it. And he said that in his real voice. And he was like, that's how I've gotten this far. That's the reason I'm king. I'm king because I was able to give my people hope and make them believe that things will get better. And, but we have to focus on finding this kid who we've shot at. He's hurt. We can follow this blood. We have to find him before he tells the other people. And then they kill a walker, and the walker looks like a walker killed him and he died again. Like, he looked corroded. Like, he looked like he was a walker with an STD. I mean, it was awkward. And, you know, Ezekiel was like, I wonder what happened to him. Why does he look like that? And Carol was like, we don't have time to figure that out. I have a feeling that's going to come back to bite them in the butt later. Or not even to bite them in the butt, but that's going to be something new later on down the season or something like that. But, you know, at the end of their little scenery thing, they don't have to catch the guy because Shiva catches him. Shiva catches him, and Shiva eats the person, okay? Shiva's the shit, okay? Everybody should have a tiger in their midst. And even though they do find out that they were too little too late because he'd already, you know, he had already radioed ahead to say they were coming. And she's like, well, it's too late now. They know we're coming. He's like, yeah, they do know we're coming, King Ezekiel. And he was like, but we're not going to stop here. We're going to keep going. You know, that was their whole thing. Even with Morgan, and it was Morgan, Tara, Jesus. Who else was there? But anyway, they were at the other outpost. And you see how there are a lot of walkers around the post. So they can't... Diana, is it Diana? Let me see what her name is. Yeah, Diana, she can't shoot through with the arrow. So they have to clear a path so that she can shoot through and get the couple of guards. And, you know, Morgan makes a diversion. And they're like, you know, you don't have to go do this alone. You know, we can come with you. We don't want you to get hurt or to die. And he was like, I don't die. Which is technically true because Morgan has been through a lot. And he's lived through a lot, just like everyone else. But I think he feels like his luck or his unluckiness is that he is living through all of this. He just doesn't end up dying. So, you know, he causes a diversion to have all the walkers kind of come to him, which creates an opening for Diana to shoot the two guards with her arrows. So then they're in this facility. And I'm like, well, what are they in there for? Like, what are they doing? So it's like 20 of them going in here, guns, and they're quietly, you know, SWAT team like going through here. They're like all at a post to like bust in the door. And it was like an army that they very much, you know, in sync. And you see two people who are with Morgan are nervous. Okay, that's clearly they're nervous. And, you know, they're all ready to kick in the door, and they kick in the doors, and, you know, each group of people are shooting people. So they're shooting up this whole savior thing where they're killing people. But when it gets to the door where Morgan and the other two guys are, when they kick in the door and they shoot, the guy shoots back. And so Morgan, the other two guys get hit and they all hit the floor. And it's like, oh crap, they're shot. You know, then there's also a scene where, you know, Tara and Jesus are kind of having it out a little bit because when they're doing their little search and everything, they find a random savior hiding in the closet. And Tara wants to kill his ass, okay? She wants to kill him. Whereas Jesus is like, we can't kill him. He has his hands up. Because he's like, don't shoot me. You know, I'm not a savior. I was just here. You know, they took me and I'm just here to cook food for them. You know, I'm innocent. I didn't do anything. You know, don't kill me. And Tara's not having it. She's like, we're here to kill them. And Jesus is like, we can't do that. You know, if we do that, what are we? We can't kill someone who has their hands up. He tell her to like go see about something else, and he stands there. He at least keeps the gun on the guy. And when she comes back, she's like, we have to take care of this. And they're kind of going back and forth, and Jesus is defending the guy, saying we can't do it. And Tara's like, what is wrong with you? And then he takes Jesus' gun and kind of holds Jesus hostage. I think it's very weird to say that someone held Jesus hostage. But that's what he did. And he's like, you know, I thought you would be I didn't think you would be a sappy one. We basically learned that he was playing them. He's like, you know, because he was hiding in the closet and he had pissed his pants because he's terrified because he's not a savior. But he's like, you know how hard it is to piss your pants on purpose? We see he's a real ass savior and he was just playing them to get away. And Jesus like, she's going to kill you now. Like, she's going to kill you. And she's like, yep, I'm going to kill you. But she didn't shoot because she couldn't shoot because Jesus is right there. And he's just saying how, you know, yeah, these are the prenatal pills for your friend Maggie. He then steps on them, crushes them. So he's a total asshole. And Jesus, like, gets the gun back, wrestles the guy down. Tara doesn't get to shoot him because of how Jesus wrestled him down. And Jesus wants to tie him up. And Tara's like, what are you doing? We can't keep him. We can't save everyone. You know, that's not what we're here for. And she's like, you're not Rick, you're not Maggie. And he's like, I might not be, but I can explain this to Maggie and she'll listen to me. And he ties him up, and then they go outside, and then they all go back outside, and they like open up a bunker where there's like one other savior, and then it's Tara and Jesus. Like, Jesus is like, if they don't shoot first, we can't shoot them. And she's like, well, if they shoot first, one of us will get killed. We need to shoot them first. And he's like, no, we have to give them time to surrender. Why? Like, why all of a sudden is Jesus trying to be Jesus for real and want to save everybody? Like, their saviors are all killers in one way or the other. I don't want to face someone with a gun and allow them to maybe shoot me first. So I don't get where all this holier than thou stuff is coming from. So, when the guy opens the bunker and he has his gun, he doesn't shoot first, thank God. And, Tara was like, you know what? Maggie might believe you, but Rick will believe me. So it's the thing of, you're saying how Maggie might want you to save people, so to speak. Rick wants us to kill people, so to speak. Maggie's gonna believe you, and Rick's gonna take my side. So we're gonna have to just battle this on out. And all the saviors in this bunker basically surrender. But it's still the question of, we came here to kill them all. We can't let them live. And from there, we see what happens. Morgan didn't die, because Morgan can't die. He was grazed with a bullet, and when they were shooting, he just played dead on the ground. And he's alive. He, he opens his eyes, of course, because he played dead, and he grabs the guns around him, and he gets up and he walks off. And then he goes on absolutely, positively a murdering spree, where everyone in his past he shoots and he kills. Point blank period. He's shooting, kill, you dead, you dead, you dead, you dead, you dead. Everybody that crossed Morgan's path in this show died. And as he's making his way out, and he's killing saviors, he's killing, Morgan didn't want to kill anyone. He didn't want to kill walkers or people. So this is a different thing for him. He's in this murderous mindset. And as he's walking, they're playing these visions, or this remembrance of him talking to Rick. And Rick is basically saying, we have to get them before they get us. And, he's telling Rick, well, no, life still means life. We can't just do that. And then it was just him and Rick having that conversation over Rick thinking, we have to kill them before they kill us. And Morgan saying, we don't have to do that. And then as Morgan's walking and he's killing more people, he walks out to the bright light. And we see that he came out of the same bunker the other saviors were hiding in. So he walks out to Jesus and Tara and the rest of them. And he's like, he kind of wants to kill them. And Jesus basically talks them out of it. He's like, what would that make us? We can't do that. And then Morgan's saying, we came here to kill him, so what should we do? Because that's what they came there for, basically. And we see that they basically don't kill him. So, that's their whole story. Even with Aaron and Eric and those guys, we see in the beginning how there's a scene where there's a girl at the Savior camp, and she's radioing to the other people like, so-and-so, and like 2 people didn't answer. So then she gets to the third person, and she's like, lock this place down immediately. And then you see, the bandwagon, as I'm going to call them, they all pull up in those little armored, homemade armored cars, and they're just shooting. And they kind of block them in, and they're just shooting them up. Shoot. Brrr, all the bullets flying everywhere. And the whole episode is a shoot off. And I kept thinking, like, why they gonna shoot the whole episode? Like, no one ran out of bullets. It was just, I'm like, aren't you wasting ammunition? It was a full on shootout for the whole episode. And I kept thinking, like, they're just gonna keep shooting. They're gonna just keep shooting. Aaron's shooting, Eric's shooting. Different people are just shooting. And the Savior's like, they're not gonna come in here. We need to push them back. But they couldn't, because again, they just keep shooting. We then figure out towards the end of the episode, the reason they just keep shooting and they're not progressing to go in there is because they know if they keep shooting and they keep shooting them, they're going to die. And then when they die, what happens? They turn into a walker. So they pin them in there because that was the plan. Keep shooting, pin them in, because when the ones die, they'll turn into walkers and they'll kill the ones who are alive. Perfect plan, actually. Perfect plan. And in that, we see Eric gets shot, who is Aaron's boyfriend. So of course he sees Eric is shot, and he kind of takes him away. They're walking away. He's trying to get him help for being shot. But again, I'm like, the whole episode they were just shooting and shooting and shooting and shooting, and I'm like, why are they shooting? So as they're shooting, they're showing the things going on with the Morgan and them scene. As they're shooting, we see, King Zeke and them. We see all these other scenes happen, and I'm like, well, why are they still shooting? Like, they're just still shooting, and it was boring to me because I kept thinking they just keep shooting. Okay, they just keep shooting, and then when some people turned into walkers and started eating the other ones, I'm like, okay, that was the point of it. Okay, we see that Eric is shot and he's hurt. Okay, but he's able to walk away. Okay, fine. Everyone's alive. Okay, fine. So we see that whole scene. So that was that whole scene of them shooting. Lastly, we have, it's Rick and Daryl. Now, they're at a separate outpost for the Saviors, and they're basically looking for guns. And they're walking in this building, and I'm like, why did, they split up? Why y'all split up? But Rick, like, we can cover more ground and we're separate. Never do that, okay? You're in The Walking Dead. You don't ever split up. So they're basically both just walking the building, and they're looking for these guns that they think is here from the map that Dwight gave them. So Dwight made them that map. That one showed them on the outpost, and that two is supposedly saying that in this building, there are guns in this building, and you just have to find them. They go their separate ways. Daryl's walking through a hallway. He sees like a captured room, and there's like dog food on the floor with a sandwich and handcuffs, which of course takes him back to when they had him captured. So then he's off in his feelings in his head, and we have that whole scene. Then we see Rick, who's walking around, and he's looking for guns too on a different floor, and he walks into a room. He sees like a regular cute little room or whatever. Then he's fighting with a guy, and they're fighting. I'm like, they really fighting to the death. And Rick ends up killing the guy. Yep, he kills him. They're fighting tough. They're fighting back and forth. And finally, Rick sees like a shelf hook on the wall, and he throws him into the shelf hook. So then, of course, the guy is there. Because Rick is thinking the guy is hiding the gun, because he's like, the guy won't let him go into a certain room. He's like, the guns are in there, aren't they? And he's like, no, you can't get in there. And so they're fighting and all this stuff. So when Rick kills the guy, Rick goes into the room. When he goes into the room, guess what's in the room? No guns. Nope, no guns at all. It's a baby. A little baby named Gracie. And of course he's like, shit. And it's the quintessential thing of you are acting without thinking and without knowing, and you're just assuming things. So you assume the guns are in this room, and you and this man are fighting, and he probably fighting you because there was a baby in there, and he don't want you killing or kidnapping the baby. But of course, in this day and age of The Walking Dead, you're not asking anyone questions about whatever. You're just fighting for your life. So he's killed this man. He walks in the room, and it's a baby room. Like the wall is painted, and it says Gracie, and there's kid toys and all that stuff, and a little sleeping, adorable little baby girl. And Rick looks in the mirror, because there's a mirror above the bed, and he sees himself covered in blood a little bit, looking all disheveled with a gun in his hand, and he sees himself, and he kind of doesn't like what he sees. So it's an odd moment for him. So he puts his gun down, because you can't have a gun around a baby. You can't just do that. And this is like only the second baby we've seen on The Walking Dead in the whole 8 seasons. And of course, people were jokingly saying on Twitter, that's also Shane's baby. Shane been dead for 8 seasons, not Shane's baby. There's only one person who was possibly Shane's baby on the show. So from there, he's standing near the crib, and you see a gun raised up behind him, and they say, turn around slowly. And then, who is it? Surprise, surprise, surprise. It's Morales from season 1, I believe. Morales was an original survivor when they were back in Atlanta. And when I saw him, I was like, he looks familiar. I remember him from the beginning of the show, but I can't remember exactly who he was. I'm like, but he was one of the first survivors. So I Googled it, like, who was this Morales from Walking Dead? And I was like, yeah. It was him, his wife, and his kids. And when they were going to drive to D.C. to the CDC, his family said, no, we're going to go to like Alabama or somewhere down south to try to find their family. So here, 8 seasons later, Here's Morales with a gun to Rick's head. And who was Morales? He's a damn savior now. So he probably never made it down south, to Alabama or whatever. And he's like, I already called them, so the saviors are on their way. They'll be here. And Rick's like, your name is Morales. You were in Atlanta. Was it when he was like, Atlanta was a long time ago. Meaning the person who I was, I know you knew me then, but you don't know me now. And that's how the episode goes off. But it also shows how, every person in the beginning, when you saw their face in the beginning of the episode, they all have went through things in their own right this whole episode. So it's like their after look, how they look after the fact. Aaron after Eric gets shot. Rick after he sees that Morales is now a savior, and he's basically letting the saviors come kill him, because that's what he plans to do. Daryl after he's seen this room that reminds him of when he was chained up and locked up. Morgan after he's killed all these people because he was on his killing spree. And even Tara, who wants to kill all the saviors and Jesus won't let her. So it was an interesting episode, I guess, if you think about all the thoughts behind it, but I feel like it could have been executed differently, just so that I don't know. I'm gonna continue to watch it and continue to review it, but I'm hoping the next episode isn't just more of like, where is Eugene? Like, that's my thing too. You know what I'm saying? People were saying, how does Shiva know to only kill saviors and not to kill anyone else? Why bring Morales back as a savior? But I guess that's, a monkey wrench in the system. But again, it's only episode 2, so it's like, how many questions can you ask when it's only episode 2? I can get it. This is like episode 5, and we like, where Eugene at? Eugene ain't been for all these episodes except one. I'm hoping the next episode, like, at least shows like what's going on in Alexandria, like Bashan and Carl, and where's Maggie? Where's the Hilltop people? We know that Gabriel is still caught up with Megan. You know what I'm saying? So it's that kind of stuff. Like, where's the white? So I just don't need the next episode to be more of what today's episode was. I need to progress a little bit. So that was the whole episode. Honestly, the ending was, Rick seeing Morales there, and that was a big shocker. Now I did watch The Talking Dead a little bit, and we do know that next week on The Talking Dead is going to be a special guest. And typically a special guest on The Talking Dead means someone dies. I'm going to guess maybe Eric dies because Eric was shot. I don't think they should kill a main character this early. And when I say a main character, I mean like a main character. I hope they don't. That's just my opinion. So, I am Jay Lee. This is Jay Lee's Corner. This is my review of The Walking Dead, Season 8, Episode 2, The Damned. If you have not done so already, please take a moment to subscribe to my channel. It just lets you know when I have new content. Always remember, you can watch my videos at any time you want to. You can also share my videos and always like my videos. And if you want to, please put a comment in the comment section below. With your comments, just, of course, don't be mean, don't be rude. So until next time, people.